Should Kawhi get the supermax? Hell yeah. Hell yes, Kawhi should get the supermax. Look, all your concerns are legitimate. Although I would say to those who question his desire to play, in fact, if you're being rational, there's a difference between being hurt and being injured, as they always say. You're hurt, you're dealing with nagging pain and this and that. And injury is like, wait a minute, this thing isn't working. And it's chronic. And I think that's what Kawhi is dealing with. Seems to me. I'll take him at his word. Yeah. The way Kawhi Leonard plays, I'm not going to take him at his word. I don't care who's in his ear, his uncle or whoever else. Kawhi Leonard's one of the most efficient offensive players who ever lived and is one of the greatest and most consistent, hardworking, and smart defenders who ever lived. Kawhi Leonard's the guy who Michael Jordan said is the best two-way player in the NBA. Kawhi Leonard's the guy who draws comparisons to MJ, you know, for what? His competitiveness. Yeah. We think of him as like Scottie Pippen, right? A great offensive player whose specialty is defense. But his competitiveness draws comparisons to Michael Jordan. So he's going to turn 27 later this month. 27, 28, 29, 30, 31 years old. We know he's injury prone. We know even though he does it very efficiently on both ends of the court, he's working very hard on both ends of the court. Who knows if his prime will extend through age 31 or how many games he may play a season. But if I have a chance to lock him up on my team, I will take that chance. There are no guarantees, and he is riskier than some. But you absolutely must take that chance when you have one of the all-time greats in his prime on your team.
I can't disagree with you with what you're saying. I can only tell you what a preference is. And what I mean by that is, Max, it's not just that he was hurt. Remember that players meeting that Tony Parker led, where you had guys that confronted him, asking him what's going on with you? Because the belief was he could play. We saw our very own Steven Jackson go on the air. Did a great job contributing to The Jump and other shows and Sports Center.
Yeah, great.
Steven Jackson goes on the air and says, you remember, he won a championship with Popovich, playing with Tim Duncan. He said, quote, there's no way on earth those guys approach Kawhi Leonard without Greg Popovich's blessing.
You know what that tells me?
So Greg Popovich sent them. So what I'm saying to you is this. If Greg Popovich sent them, and these guys felt so inclined to confront the star as to whether or not he wanted to play, that's a problem.
No, I'll tell you what that tells me.
That's a problem.
Guys, this is injury.
That tells me the opposite of that.
Sure, please.
This is what that tells me. Because Kawhi Leonard, the way Steph Curry is an unselfish superstar, the way Tim Duncan was, that's what Kawhi Leonard is. He's an unselfish superstar. His play on the court tells you that. He's unselfish on offense and therefore highly efficient. And he's the defensive anchor of the team, obviously. So when a guy plays like that, it tells me he respects the game, he respects the fans, and he respects his teammates. Like a guy who gives that kind of effort and service of the team has bought into the Popovich system, has drunk the Kool-Aid. Now.
Hold on. Not necessarily.
Oh, I think so.
Some guys are just that way. What I mean by that is no matter who they are, they're going to do what they do.
Yeah, but he doesn't seem like a me guy.
Doesn't matter if they play for Greg Popovich or James Dolan.
My interpretation of Kawhi's behavior on the court tells me that. So you know what it tells me when I hear him, when Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili and Popovich sent them, confront him with all this, and still he says, no, I'm hurt. It tells me
he's hurt.
He is a real one. He is not succumbing to peer pressure. The hardest thing in the world to do is when people you really respect, your actual peer group, all unanimously speak with a voice saying, you need to do this, but you know they're wrong and are willing to stand up for yourself.
They didn't say to him what he needed to do. They were asking him in his heart what's going on.
And
he told them.
And he told them,
I'm telling you that Kawhi Leonard will do the same thing for the Knicks.
Isaiah Thomas, who got cost so much money because they mishandled his injury as well.